Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What is going on, good people? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? But what's going on, man? Listen, I did not plan to go live tonight. However, the talk about Nick Sirianni was just getting ramped up and more ramped up. And let's keep it a buck. This is direct fallout from what just happened to Robert Saleh. Let's keep that on the forefront. Is Nick Sirianni on the hot seat? What's up, William? Is Nick Sirianni on the hot seat? I say yes. Maybe not as hot as some people think, but the pressure is definitely on. But you also got to think of it like this. The pressure is always on for a head coach. I've heard some people talk about Shanahan in San Francisco with all of the stuff that he got going on. What's up, Kev? What's up, Bob? So the pressure is always on when you're a head coach. It's always going to come to you first. So yes, he's in the hot seat, but it just seems like it's a little bit more focused because of what just happened to Robert Saleh. And when you read more about what happened with him, I don't want to say they did him dirty, but it was kind of disrespectful. It was definitely unprofessional, in my opinion. But when you the owner, you play with your toys how you want to play with them. That's what it comes down to, as ugly as that sounds and as unfair as that sounds. You do what you want to do. It's your team. So I saw the thing. One of the players, I can't remember who it was, said he found out Robert Saleh was fired from his neighbor texting him. Because remember, Robert Saleh went into work like a normal day. He was getting prepped for his morning meetings. You usually get in the, depending on what team, but they usually have everybody in there from around 8 to 9 o'clock. You have meetings, watch film, and then you have practice like 10:30, 11 maybe. You go from like 11 to 1. Then people will go back and watch film, and then you out of there probably around, 4 or 5 o'clock, depending on, what's going on. It's a day. I remember days I would go down to the vet. I would get there about 7:30. Our first meeting started at sometimes it was like 8:30. Sometimes it was like 9. And it would depend on what was really happening, on what you wanted to do, when you wanted to do it, all that type of stuff. So a lot of times it's a full day. Robert Saleh went in there with the intention of going through his normal routine, and he had no inclination that this was coming. That's what's kind of ugly about it, when you get blindsided. So I didn't hear about Glenn Mack now, but probably he may have been talking about the Jets. I don't know. So it was ugly. It was ugly. So hold on for a second. But yeah, Yeah, I'm not sure who they were talking about. If it was a while back, I'm sure it has happened before. If you figure it out, put it in the chat. Let me know. Because that was crazy today. And now you got the fallout of it. It's on everybody's mind. So of course, everybody is projecting that towards Nick Sirianni. And I'm like, you got to pump your brakes a little bit. But when you take into consideration everything that has already happened this year, and then you look at it, what's going on, S Blunt? You gotta be realistic about it. If you look at the way some things that have transpired this year, and you got to look at how it came, we still got the bad taste in our mouth from last year. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we got him. No, I don't like some of the stuff he says. No, I don't like some of his actions, when he's yelling at fans and all of that type of nonsense. I don't really get into all of that, but that's an opinion. Some people might like that type of fire and that type of bravado and all of that type of stuff. Some people might like it. To me, I've never been, even in my playing days, when I was in college, when I was with the Eagles, I was never a braggart. I was never that dude that wouldn't shut up. I was never a T.O. type of dude or a Joey Porter, or those guys, Chad Johnson, that just talk. I was never that type of dude. Even though I had the talent, just it wasn't my personality. You talking about personality issues. And Nick Sirianni has that personality. And there's one thing that we have to forget. Nobody had a problem with all of this when we went to the Super Bowl. Nobody had a problem with it. It might get on your nerves, but he got us to the playoffs and got us to the Super Bowl. And there's a lot of other coaches who are arguably much better than Nick Sirianni that haven't got anywhere near close to a Super Bowl. As much props as people give Shanahan is what, 0 for 2? He got just as many wins as Sirianni. So I look at all of that kind of stuff in the macro. I want to take everything, into consideration. Listen, King Eagle, we gonna get into Aaron Rodgers, bro. I mean, we might as well get into it now. A lot of people think that Aaron Rodgers got him fired. I think he did indirectly. I don't think he went to the owner and said, "You either get rid of Saleh or this ain't gonna work." I don't think that happened. Because think about it like this: if Aaron Rodgers wins that game, Robert Saleh probably still has his job. But again, Robert Saleh is a defensive coach. The Jets' defense, top 5 in the league. What do you want? What is he supposed to do? He's a defensive coach. So you know what he does? He hires an offensive coordinator, and they try to get the job done. And you got a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, I know he was talking about getting rid of Nathaniel Hackett. I don't know how true that is, but all I'm going to say is this. I am positive that Nathaniel Hackett is not coaching Aaron Rodgers how to throw picks. Because Aaron Rodgers has had at least 1 or 2 good games this season. I had to look up his stats. And my point being is, was it Nathaniel Hackett or Robert Saleh's fault when they won the 2 games that they won? The Jets are what, 2-3 now? So it wasn't an issue with Hackett or Saleh when they were winning. So I don't know, man. The Jets, they lost to the Vikings 17-23. So that was a good game. They lost to the Broncos 10-9. Okay, so he had a bad game. They beat the Patriots 24-3. Then they beat the Titans 24-17. So I'm looking at stats now. Player stats. So this was the Viking games. Now, mind you, Vikings are the best team, arguably the best team in football right now at 5-0. So Aaron Rodgers was 29 for 54, 244, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Okay. So let's go. That was the Vikings. Let's go to the Jets. The Broncos. 10-9, they lost to the Broncos. Let's look at the stats. 24 for 42, 225. No touchdowns, no picks. Pedestrian game for Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to the Patriots. They win 24-3. Aaron Rodgers, 27 for 35, 281, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Braylon Allen had the longest 55 yards. Breece Hall had a 54-yard touchdown. Decent, 281, 2 tutties. That's decent. That's a good game. Jets beat the Titans 24-17. Aaron Rodgers, 18 for 30, 176, 2 touchdowns. Pedestrian game for Aaron Rodgers. And then you got what did we just miss? 6. Oh, that was okay. The Jets and the Vikings game was last week. I'm reading it backwards. Okay, I got you. So yeah. You can't 29 for 54. They threw the ball 54 times and he threw 3 picks. Whose fault is that? Is Nathaniel Hackett coaching that? Whose fault is that? You got to be careful about that because, again, if they win that game against the Vikings, against the undefeated Vikings, if they win that game, Robert Saleh has his job right now. So the only difference is Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks. And then you see this nonsense. Then you see this nonsense. And I said this earlier. I was like, see, Aaron Rodgers is a dick. To put out something like this, where somebody can quote you saying this right after your coach gets fired, and then you say it's not that he's a bad coach, and this is nothing personal. I just didn't really like the guy on a personal level. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? So you really, you're really going to kick him on the way out and try to pass it off as your passive aggressive self. Man, get the hell out of here with that nonsense. You see stuff like that, man, and you're like, you know what? Hey, Rod, I hope you don't win another game. I hope New York loses the rest of the game. I hope they lose all them games like 13-10. Your defense is still balling and you sucking. You don't do nobody like that. But you knew it was something kind of goofy with Aaron Rodgers when they just scored a touchdown. Robert Saleh comes up to him to give him a hug, like a coach hug, like you would your quarterback that just, kept y'all in the game, and you gonna diss him and stiff arm him? Like, come on, dog. You ain't that grand. Like, people, they got to be better than that, man. I look at stuff like that, man, and to me, that reminds me of when people go to a restaurant and they want to abuse the help. They there to serve you. They don't want to get talked to crazy, talked down to, or nah. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what this is right now. It's nothing personal, but I didn't like him personally, on a personal level. Get out of here with that shit. Jets get what they get. I was pulling for him for Hassan Reddick, but all of that stuff is water under the bridge now. I hope they don't win another freaking game. But we'll see what's going to happen. So you already know Before I go any further, man, I wanted to send this out. Want a big shout out to all of the Eagles fans down in Florida, because I know they're going through it right now. I got some family and some frat brothers down there. Been trying to check in with everybody. So if you know some Eagles fans down in Florida, man, make sure they're safe. But the biggest thing with Sirianni this year has been his coaching decisions. His coaching decisions have been kind of suspect. Very suspect. Going on the third downs, not kicking the field goal, and then opting to throw the ball when we got to run out the clock. Not good decisions, because all of those decisions ended up coming back to bite us in the butt. So his bad decisions are trumping his track record. He is destroying any type of fan equity that he has built up. Fan equity is what gives you that longer leash. Fan equity is what keeps the fans on your side. He can turn it around. Let's not forget what he's done. All of those things that fans do when they support you, that's your fan equity. And he's destroying it. Because he's not, I just don't think he's making logical decisions. So it's going to continue to go. I hope he gets better at it. I hope he does the obvious thing. And if it's, 4th and 3 and we're at the 28-yard line, kick the damn field goal. Take the points. Take the points. There's only been one game that we really got beat bad, and that was the Tampa Bay game. When we lost that Atlanta game, we should have never been in that situation. But we were, and we blew it. What's up, Lil G? So it'll be interesting to see how he goes forward and how everybody is looking at him at this game. Because you done had the bye week, so that means you got 2 weeks to get ready. But again, with the fan equity, you done lost that equity, because in the playoff game last year against Tampa Bay, we should have been ready for it. We had plenty of time to get ready. You knew what was coming. You knew that everybody and their mama knew they was going to blitz. And it looked like we weren't ready for it at all. And the same thing happened in Tampa Bay this year. So they got to change something up. Now I've heard they've, picked up the pace in practice, and, they're doing better tackling drills. I believe it when I see it, but this is no cakewalk. We are not the type of team that can just walk into a stadium and be world beaters. We're not that type of squad no more. Maybe 2 years ago, but not now. I haven't seen anything that gives me that type of confidence that I know both sides of the ball are going to dominate. We don't have that right now. And that's a hard thing to do. We still got the talent, and I think we can still do some things, but we just haven't been playing up to snuff, in my opinion. It's either the defense plays well or the offense plays well, not together. Not together. You already know we should have won the Falcons game, and we should have lost the Saints game. And now, again, after that game with Atlanta, Kirk Cousins is looking like a world beater. Kirk Cousins beat us on one leg. A quarterback that can't move, and he beat us on one leg. And we couldn't stop him. So I'm hoping, especially after the Tampa Bay game, you done chewed on the fat a little bit. You know what not to do. And Vic Fangio has made the changes that he needs to make. I think he has, because everybody's talking about, Cooper DeJean is starting. Avonte Maddox has been sat down. So Cooper DeJean is playing. Sidney Brown is back. Those are the things that we want to see right now. Everybody wants the physical safety to get back in the game. Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship back there. Reed Blankenship's got the brains. Sidney Brown has got the power. And as much as I like Avonte Maddox and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they have had trouble the last 3 seasons. They have had trouble staying on the field. They've been injury prone. They have been injury prone. So I'm ready to see Cooper DeJean. We drafted him high. Let's see if he can play. Put him in the mix. Let's get it going. I want to see Isaiah Rodgers get out there too. I think eventually Isaiah Rodgers is going to get in the lineup, and then we're going to be having that conversation. Why wasn't he in there earlier? Watch. I hope we can just hold on and don't nothing stupid happen. Now, I was rolling through Facebook. I'm in because I'm part of the Philadelphia Eagles fan group. That's a public group I'm a part of. I got 228,000 members, so they kicking it live. But I always get a lot of good engagement in there. And there was a lot of people. I saw some people that were like, he should be fired right now. Most of the people are like, don't fire him mid-season, and that is my perspective. There's nothing good that can come from getting rid of your coach mid-season, unless it is a situation where he has completely lost the locker room. Me and Barry Brooks talked about that before, where the coach, in his situation, the coach told him, he was like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing. And the coach that they fired was just totally out of it. He was out of it. And he knew it, and he admitted it to him. I have to go back and look at that story that Barrett told. And it's like, when you're in a situation like that, that's a bad place to be, because it's like you just trying to tread water. And you get into those funks where it just seems like nothing you can do works. So unless that's the situation, you keep the coach that you got. Let him ride out through the system. Just like what they did with Sean Desai last year. That made no sense. The defense wasn't playing that bad. Not in my opinion. I think Nick Sirianni was wrong, or Howie Roseman maybe. I don't know whose idea it was to bring in Matt Patricia. But that was a waste of time. So now we're looking at 2 years in a row where we brought personnel in and it didn't pan out. Matt Patricia came in here. That was a mistake. Then we brought Devin White in here. He didn't step on the field. And that was crazy. To me, that didn't make any sense whatsoever. So a lot of people think Nick Sirianni should go. And I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with that. Not right now. Here's the thing, though, and this is the thing I think about, because for this to even be a possibility is a problem. For this to be a legitimate possibility is unnerving to me. Never thought we would be in this situation. Because if we somehow lose against Cleveland, then we go up against New York and we lose that game in New York with the whole Saquon Barkley backstory, then I can see them axes sharpening for Nick Sirianni. I can see that happening. I don't want it to happen. Whether you like Sirianni or not, you would never want that to happen. Not in the middle of the season. That is like you going down the road at 60 miles an hour and you pull the emergency brake. Something bad is going to happen. You want to finish the season, make the changes you got to make, and then you got the whole off season to figure it out. You don't want to try to figure this stuff out in season. You never want to do that. Never. So I would never want to see that, but like, you got a lot of people in this chat that was like, if we lose to Cleveland, he's got to go. Fire him now. Let me see. It was a whole bunch of stuff in there. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah. Bench the chump Hurts. Things will change. He is the Eagles' problem. A lot of people think that it's on Jalen Hurts. And very similar to the situation in New York. Again, if Aaron Rodgers plays well, Robert Saleh has his job. Ken Dorsey has his job, possibly, or at least he would have finished the year last year if, same thing, if Josh Allen didn't throw 3 picks. Matt Canada could have still had his job if Kenny Pickett was a better quarterback. So, like, I don't even like this being a possibility, but he's right. If Hurts continues to play bad, they're going to ask Nick Sirianni. Does Kellen Moore end up being the interim coach? Or would they give it to Fangio? But in any case, you don't never want to see that situation happen. Jalen Hurts, we got every weapon we need on that team. We still got a phenomenal offensive line. We have the best running back in the league. We got a quarterback that's hard to bring down when he's on point. This ain't 2022. He hasn't run the same way since. He was hurt last year, and he still don't look like he's comfortable running out of the pocket. I think they're trying to coach it out of him. And I remember Donovan McNabb going through that. Everybody wanted him to get out of the pocket, and he was determined to stay in the pocket. And he ended up being a better quarterback for it. But here's the one thing, like when you compare Donovan McNabb and Jalen Hurts. Donovan McNabb had the benefit of being with Andy Reid from the rip. How many years was he under the same system? And that's the thing. I keep saying this over and over and over again, and people tend to forget it. You cannot discount always having to learn a new offensive system. You can't get any continuity. You can't. The quarterback has to be in a situation where he knows everything. And if you always have to relearn, and everything I learned last year, I got to throw it out. And I got something brand new this year. If you keep having to do that year after year after year, you can only go so far. You can only go so far. Look at Sam Darnold now. He's finally in a system that he understands and is paying dividends. For whatever reason, I think when you are in the league long enough, especially at the quarterback position, you finally get to a point where it starts to click. And then when it begins to click, you still have to be in the right environment. Luckily for Sam Darnold, he's in the right environment in Minnesota. Lucky for Jaden Daniels, he's in the right environment in Washington. Unfortunately for Bryce Young, he's not in the right environment down in Carolina. Justin Fields wasn't in the right environment in Chicago. And he's struggling in Pittsburgh. It hasn't clicked for him yet. And we forget that some of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, it took them a long time for it to really click for him. How long did Peyton Manning play before he got to the playoffs and won a Super Bowl? Like, how long did that process take? It was beating the hell out of Peyton Manning. But it was a different time. Like nowadays, people think you can just add water and you got instant Hall of Fame quarterback. Everybody wants to find the next Patrick Mahomes. And let's keep it 100%. Let's keep it 100%. San Francisco won the damn lottery with Brock Purdy. They had no idea what they had. Brock Purdy could have put out the best tape of his highlights at Iowa State, or I think that's where he went to school. He could have put out he could have had the best highlight tape ever. But because he ain't 6'4", and because he didn't go to a USC or Michigan or Notre Dame or Georgia, he was going to get overlooked. And because he's Mr. Irrelevant, they threw a bone to him, and lo and behold. And to a certain extent, that's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. Nobody expected Jalen Hurts to ever take the Eagles to the Super Bowl. That's one of the things they say on television all the time. That's like the trump card. Do you see him being able to take your franchise to the Super Bowl? Jalen Hurts is not going to take them to a Super Bowl. That was the prevailing opinion on him. He's an athletic quarterback, but he can't throw. He can't do this. He can't do that. And all he did, he got with a coach. He finally got with a coach that got the best up out of him. And then what happens? The coach leaves. The coach leaves. And you know what? Not for nothing, Shane Steichen ain't been the same either. He thought he had something with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy. Jalen Hurts did. Anthony Richardson has a cannon for an arm. Guidance system not included. And he can't stay healthy. Faster, bigger, stronger. But I would argue that Jalen Hurts is still a better quarterback. Even as bad as he's playing, he's still a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young and a lot of these other guys that do check all of the boxes that you want. Not Bryce Young because he's too small. But Sun Seed, I'm with you, man. There's no rebuttal. There's no rebuttal. And I'm saying you got to give it 2 games. Because if for some reason we're god awful and we lose to Cleveland, if for some reason that happens, we lose to Cleveland, you got the Giants coming right after. So that's a makeup game. It's a conference game, and we can still kind of stabilize what's going on. It'll be an emotional high. It's a conference win, puts us in front in a division. And the big thing now is the team to beat in our division is Washington, not the Giants, not the Cowboys. But we still got to come correct because we're not looking like it just hasn't happened yet. It happened on the offense one game, then it happened on the defense one game, but we haven't been able to put it together. If the offense would have played like they did in Brazil, well, I guess in the second half of Brazil, with that defensive stand like we had against the Saints, you got to be able to put them things together. And then after the Saints, that's when we play Tampa Bay, and we look like we didn't even go to practice. So it's a lot on the line, man. And if it'll get ugly if we lose to Cleveland. I don't see us losing to Cleveland, though. I don't see that happening. So, but son, I'm with you. The execution are going to be sharpening that axe if we lose to either Cleveland or the Giants. And also, it's how you lose. If we lose a heartbreaker or something like that, that's one thing. But if we just look like we didn't belong on the field, if Cleveland does to us what Tampa Bay did, if the Giants do to us what Tampa Bay did, then we got a problem. Then we got a problem. I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope we just take care of business, do the logical stuff, start hitting those short passes. We got AJ and Devontae and Lane Johnson back. Let's start running the ball off of Lane and Mekhi Becton. Zone reads off of Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson. Let me say that one more time so everybody gets it. Zone reads off of Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is arguably the best offensive tackle in the league, and Mekhi Becton is putting it down as one of the best guards in the league this year. Run behind it. They're both the same size. Mekhi Becton might be a little bit bigger than Lane Johnson, and that's saying something. At guard, use them. Saquon Barkley should touch the ball 25 times a game. A mixture of run and pass. I want him to touch the ball. I want him to run the ball at least 15 times every game. At least 15 rushes. The other touches can come with screens and passes, whatever you want to do. But Saquon Barkley should have at least 15 rushes every game and at least 20 touches. You can go behind Landon Mailata, but if I'm gonna look at who's the best in the business, number one, Saquon Barkley is better running to his right. That's the natural. When you are right-handed or left-handed, you want to go to your dominant side because things just, it's easier. That's the best way to describe it. I'll never forget when I was in college. It was the game I became the NCAA. I became the 1AA all-time leading rusher. We were playing Morehead State, and we had this one play. It was called 8 and 9. It was a pitch play. I would take a jab step to the, if it was a 9, that means I'm going to the left. I would take a quick jab step to the right and take off left and wait for the pitch. That jab step was to just pause the linebackers to set up the blocks. And I remember on this one particular play, I did not take the jab step. I caught the pitch on my third step, and I planted on my left leg and cut it all the way back behind the right tackle and scored. Because everybody was flowing so fast and so hard to play side. The cutback, even though severe, was all day. And I cut it back, and I was gone. Running to my right side. You're comfortable over there. It seems like you see things better. You do things with your dominant hand. Let me say it like that. That's the best way I can describe it. It is easier running to your right than it is running to your left. And when you got Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson on that side, we still having problems with our tight ends blocking, but you do what you got to do. But run them to the right. They're going to run them to the left. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of talk about Shipley. I like Shipley. But I'm a fan of Kenny Gainwell, man. I think most people want to see Kenny Gainwell out of there because he doesn't have a big enough name, in my opinion. Kenny Gainwell has done nothing but take advantage of the opportunities when he gets them. He makes the most out of his time. He doesn't get a lot of snaps, but he makes the most of them. I wish we could throw the ball to him. I wish we could put in a pony package with 2 running backs. I think we would benefit from that because either way you slice it, we're going to get a mismatch somewhere because both linebackers got to come up and guard the running backs. We win. There's not too many linebackers other than like Fred Warner and a couple others maybe that can hang with Saquon Barkley, that can hang with Kenny Gainwell. They're too shifty. I say this all the time. There are a lot of linebackers that can run. There's not many that know how to cover. When you got to backpedal, open your hips, change direction, that's coverage like a DB. Linebackers can't do that. Linebackers get in their zone, see ball, get ball. There's a little bit of technique when you have to cover a skill position, a running back, a slot, a wide receiver. So we got to stick to what works. We got to stick to what's got us there. Renfro is still a free agent. I'll take a flyer on him. Okay. You know how he's known to make some wheeling and dealing when you least expect it. So it's possible. It's possible. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that. You can take a flyer on him. We'll see what happens. But it's just got to be smart. It's got to be smart. We are in a situation where this can get bad real quick. But we got to remember, we only 4 games in. It's week 6, but we only playing game 5. So we get a little edge from that. So Sirianni's got to do it. I'm hoping he starts. My iPad thinks Siri is talking when I say Sirianni. But he just has to make logical decisions. Don't make things too complicated. I say this all the time. I say when I'm on with Tone. By the way, I'll be on with Tone DeShields tomorrow at 7:00, I believe. Is it 7 or 7:30? Let me see. Let me double check. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be on with Tone DeShields. Chocolate Up Sports and Pro Fan Talk, the collab. But Nick Sirianni just has to do smart, common sense decisions, take the points. If it is short, third and short, fourth and short, just run the damn brotherly shove, run the push. Stop making it complicated. We haven't found anybody that can stop us yet. Just run the damn play. It's like we ran into at nauseum last year, and then all of a sudden it's like we don't want to run it. Because is the other team gonna feel bad? It's like I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So just do the common sense stuff, man. Do the common sense stuff. Enough with the nonsense. We need a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. We have not had that yet all year, and we need it now to stabilize what's going on and where it's headed. Because I don't like to be in a situation where we are winning games, but we don't like the performance. Because it seems like you're nitpicking. When you lose, it's a complaint. When you win, you're just nitpicking. But when we won that Saints game, nobody was happy about that. Nobody. And Sirianni's trying to carry on like he normally does. And it grates people the wrong way. It gets on the nerves, grates on your nerves. You want them to be successful. You want them to, I'm not against the CEO coach, but be a CEO. Put the hammer down and give the final say. But if you're going to do that, it better be right. I don't mind that. I like Kazir White. Kazir White played pretty well last year because nobody could tackle last year. So that I'm not going to just blame that on him. But Kazir White, Reddick, TJ Edwards, listen, we should have never got rid of TJ Edwards, but it looks like we got somebody else in the place. We got Zach Bond, and he's doing a bang-up job. He is TJ Edwards except lighter and can cover. So, yeah, I'm with you, Eagles fan. I like Kazir White. So we got some things to do. We got some things to work on. The seat is not blazing hot yet, but it depends on what's going to happen these next 2 weeks. And it's going to take 2 weeks because we got to at least get to the conference game. We got to get there first. We got to at least get to the conference game. So we got Packers, Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers. So we got I'm going the wrong direction. So we got the Browns on Sunday. Then we go to the Giants. Then we go to Cincinnati. Ooh, I didn't know that. My Bengals. My hometown playing. Bengals is going to be a tough game. Jaguars, we should handle Jaguars. Cowboys is going to be a tough game because neither one of our teams are playing particularly well. So that's always a good game. We go to Dallas first. The Commanders is going to be a game. Because by then, when we get to the Commanders, we'll have a better understanding of what our defense really is. There will be no misunderstandings when we go to the Commanders because I think us and the Commanders are going to be playing for the division. Unless something happens to the Rook. Jaden Daniels is playing above and beyond. And I said this the other day. I do remember wanting Cliff Kingsbury because it seems like that dude is getting the most out of that young fella. And I thought Cliff Kingsbury would be a good fit here. We need somebody. What I didn't like about him was I think we need an old school coach for Jalen. And we keep hiring all these young bucks. So will Jalen Hurts still be here to solve that riddle? I don't know. Not if we keep swapping offensive schemes and different coordinators. You need to be under one system as long as you can, so our QB can understand that system every which way but loose. We got to be able to do that, and we don't. That's just the nature of the beast right now. Everybody wants what's hot and shiny, and hot and shiny is not going to last long. It's not going to last long, and it's a shame because we're in that situation. Because if Nick Sirianni doesn't pull it together, he's going to get fired, and then somebody else is going to come in. That's another offensive system. So it's a weird. We're in a weird situation, and with Nick Sirianni not being an offensive coach anymore, clearly it's Kellen Moore's thing. But some people say otherwise, and I tend to agree sometimes with some of the decisions that we're making. However, that'll be another system that you got to learn. Somebody's got to come in and get a new system. It's either the quarterback's got to learn something new, or the people that you're bringing in, they got to adjust what they do to what we want to run. So either way you slice it, Jalen's going to have to learn a new offensive system. I think they might promote Kellen. I can see that happening if they got Nick Sirianni out of here. So that's a very real possibility. A very real possibility. So I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we can get it together and get our shit together, and just put out a dominant performance, win by 3 touchdown type win against Cleveland. We haven't scored in the first quarter. Is that Kellen Moore's fault? Is that Sirianni's fault? Who do you place that blame on? And the thing that usually gets me is when I look at Tampa Bay, and then you watch the other games, and you look at, I don't know, you look at what the Saints have done, and you look at what Minnesota is doing. They're not making it complicated. You look at Atlanta with that win they had the other day, the overtime win against Tampa Bay. Kirk Cousins looks like a god back there, man. 505 yards or something like that on a quarterback that can't move. The NFL is a copycat league. So if Kirk Cousins can do it, and our offensive line is better than his offensive line, now you got to shift the blame, and you got to look at the players in the positions. And that's where Jalen Hurts starts taking some of the heat. But there's a little bit to go around. Is it the scheme? Is it the quarterback? Is it the CEO coach? What is it? But whatever the answer is, they better figure it the hell out with the quickness. Because it's not like Cleveland don't come in here and just BS around. But we cannot lose this game at home. We can't do that. If we lose to Cleveland, one of the worst teams in the league, at the link, that's bad for business. They're going to be lining up on Broad Street, coming for Sirianni. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. We shall see what's going to happen, man. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, man. We it's not a bad situation. We're 2-2. Hopefully we'll be 3-2, and then we can continue from there. The bye week came at the exact right time. We needed it. It definitely helped. And they got to make some changes. It looks like they're making the changes from the lineup with Cooper DeJean and Sid Brown and all of that kind of stuff. So it looks like they're going to make the right changes there, but we got to be able to put the whole plan together. When we faced Green Bay with our weapons, what were those stats? I can look that up. Brazil. What is this? Oh, come on. You're going back too far. All right, we beat the Packers 34-29. And Jalen Hurts was 20 for 34, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So that was an average game. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. If you remember that game, defense should have scored that game. Nakobe Dean drops a pick six, a for sure pick six. Saquon Barkley had a great game, 24 carries, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, we got weapons, man. We got weapons. We just gotta be about our business, man. So, all right, we've been running at 55. I just wanted to go about an hour, so we in good time. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Check on your people down in Florida. Make sure they're safe. Spread the word. I've seen other people do this. I need to incorporate this a little bit more. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Let me see. All right. Since this thing seems to be the new in vogue thing. Thank you, Blunt. Appreciate it, man. I am at 45.74. And by the end of the week, I want to be at $5,000. These are my subscribers. So the squad is continually growing. My goal is to get to 5,000 this week, or I'm sorry, not 5,000, but 4,600. On it, 4,600 by the end of the week, 5,000 by the end of the month. And my long-term goal is to get to 10,000 by the Super Bowl. That's the long-term goal. So I got to get to hustling. I got a lot of ground to make up. But I'm finding that the more subscribers I get, the faster the growth happens. So I'm staying positive with it and just, being realistic with it. But I'm trying to look at, it's funny, I'm trying to look at everything like I look at when I was playing football. Every game, me as a running back, my goal is to get 100 yards a game as a running back. So my goal is I got to get to the point where I can get 100 subscribers a day. I'm looking at subscribers like they're yards gained rushing the ball. So I want to get 100 yards a game. That's how I'm looking at it. So, Blunt, I'm doing that. I'm trying to consolidate my Facebook pages. I only really use one Facebook page, so I'm trying to steer everybody to that page. But ultimately, I'm trying to push everybody to YouTube because YouTube is the preferred way to get your content now. I've been getting a lot of success lately with TikTok, and all I do on TikTok is just regurgitate what I'm putting on YouTube. I'll save a video, upload it to YouTube, and then I'll upload it to TikTok. So I'm trying to get everything involved. What I use now is YouTube is number one. Twitter is for engagement. Facebook is for engagement. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on Threads, so I've been using Threads a lot, and Instagram. And I think eventually I'm trying to phase Facebook out because Facebook is goofy sometimes. On one of my accounts, I'm restricted for 6 days. I'm like shadow banned for 6 days. Don't know why, because I don't even use it. And then on another page, I got over 2,000 people that follow me. So I'm trying to consolidate all that stuff as a way to push everybody to here on YouTube. I'm trying to get back to going every night. I'm putting out content every day now. I'm putting out something every day, whether it's live streams, whether it's something that I produce, or like whenever I produce a video, a produced video is just not live. I'm doing usually 2 or 3 of those a week, and I'm doing live probably about 3-4 times a week. So I've got content pumping out every day. And then when I do the produced videos, I get a bunch of shorts and stuff for them. So got stuff coming out every day. So I'm just trying to bring to build the engagement, because I do want to get to a situation where I can get 100, 150, 200 people on the stream at the same time. Because eventually what I want to do is I want to have y'all call in. I want to be able to, like right now, I could take the link, put it out in the chat, and then if you want to jump on the live stream, you could do that. But I only want to do that if I can get like 75 to 100 people. That's when I want to start doing that. When I can bring people on camera, and even if you don't want to be on camera, you can just turn your camera off, and I can still hear the audio. It'll be like a phone call. So I'm trying to build the engagement on Facebook to be able to do that, because I want to be able to talk to the fans and keep it real. And definitely, man, I'm trying to reach out. Got some other stuff going on, but definitely trying to do that. Definitely trying to reach out to Browns fans, because I'm from Ohio. So I definitely want to talk to Browns fans. Trying to hook up with my people from Cincinnati. I'm born and raised in Cincinnati. So I definitely want to talk to some Bengals fans. So trying to reach out and make stuff like that happen. But it sounds good in theory a lot of times, and it doesn't always manifest the way you think. So I'm trying to be smart about it. I'm trying to figure out different ways to do that. And hey, I'll tell anybody, if you in the chat, if you know somebody you think I need to hook up with, connect with, maybe collab with or something like that, let me know. Give me the feedback. Because I was, matter of fact, once again, everybody in Florida, be safe. There was a guy I was supposed to be on with on Monday, and he asked me to come on on his podcast, and I said yes. And then I looked him up, and he had like 800 subscribers. He hasn't cracked 1,000 yet. But I remember when I was there. I remember when I got my first 100 subscribers and how happy I was. I remember when I finally hit 1,000, and I was like, shoot, I want to help. Everybody can eat. So I'm saying all that to say, if you know some people that want to collab, hit me up. And it ain't got to be, I'll talk with Cowboys fans. I'll talk with Browns fans, LA fans, Vegas fans. It don't matter. I'll talk to anybody. You guys that played in the league, we got friends everywhere. We got friends for Las Vegas, any team. Everybody got a connection to all the teams in the league, man. So it's all good. Definitely hit me up on X. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Matter of fact, hold on. Oh, I don't have it on there. I'm gonna do it next time. Matter of fact, hit me up on yeah, there we go. Hit me up on X. There you go. Coach_Marcus06. That's me on X. So you can definitely hit me up. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can look up Pro Fan Talk. That's the group. See, it's funny because I got a little over 1,000 members on the group Pro Fan Talk. Yes, that is Doug Williams. That used to be the quarterback for the Washington Redskins. He was my coach when I was in the World League. But yeah, man, you can hit me up here and say, I got 2,000 people on this, and I'm trying to consolidate. I got 2 other accounts that I really don't use, and I'm trying to bring everybody here. So, but yeah, man, hit me up. Give me some ideas, man. I'm trying to bring people on the show. I do want to have a live call-in show. I've seen some good examples of that. And I want to follow that format because I like being able to talk to people. So yeah, just keep it going, man. So if you got any ideas, hit me up. You guys have a good night. Pray for the people down in Florida, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll probably have some content tomorrow. Oh, that's right. Me and Tone the Shields tomorrow, 7 p.m. So bring it back, and you'll see the collab tomorrow. We're going tomorrow for the game because he's busy, but we still want to do our Eagles pregame show. We've been doing that faithfully since the regular season started, man, and it's a good show. So check us out, man. And I'm going to get up out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Go Birds.